one thing is a little surprising in this vote. It's the number of positive votes that Russia was able to win. Only 3 of them. So with Russia, China, and Bolivia also voted in favor of this resolution. This is fewer than other resolutions put forward on Syria by Russia in the past, but 8 countries voted against the resolution, including 3 permanent members, France, the US, and the UK, and 4 other countries abstained. And in a way, in these 4 countries, we can also count, for example, Kazakhstan, which is a traditional ally of Moscow at the Security Council. So this shows really, in a way, the isolation of Russia on the Syrian issue, specifically on the chemical weapons attack question. And once again, this is not something that is new. We've seen this at work earlier this week on Tuesday when 2 Russian resolutions were rejected, one after the others, by a majority of member states. And over the course of the 7 years of the Syrian civil war, Russia has used its veto power as a permanent member already 12 times on Syria and 6 times only on the chemical weapons issue. So this is not something new, and this is a new setback, diplomatic setback for Russia on Syria.
Yeah, and we just heard before we crossed to you the Russian ambassador to the UN speaking, and we've been quoting him as saying that, you know, these attacks, these airstrikes were hooliganism on the part of the US, the UK, and France. I'm just wondering, what sort of arguments was he putting forward in that discussion there at the UN Security Council?
So there are 2 essential lines of attacks for Russia at the Security Council, and once again, we've heard that in the past. Number one is what you just say, basically underlining the illegality in Russian eyes of this joint military intervention by the US, France, and the UK, saying it's a breach to the UN Charter because the airstrike was not done within the framework of the Security Council, and therefore that this is an illegal use of force. Another line of argument for Russia is to question the veracity of the chemical attack that allegedly took place in Duma a week ago. No, and we've heard from Russia that this attack was staged, that it was some sort of manipulation, possibly by foreign services. They did not mention which that might be, but this is another argument to say that there is no strong body of evidence that a chemical attack was perpetrated. There was no chlorine or gas or sarin gas that was found on the site. And finally, there is another argument that has also been used today by Russia, which is to say that there is an investigation going on now, as OPCW experts just arrived in Damascus yesterday and today, and they're going to investigate on this chemical attack, and that in a way the US, France, and the UK are finding the culprits before even this investigation takes place. What the Russian ambassador did not say, though, is that these experts cannot hold anyone accountable. What they can only do is to say whether or not an attack was perpetrated. They do not have the power to say who ordered the attack. If an attack happened, there was such a mechanism that existed before in the past. Russia decided not to renew this mechanism in November of last year, so it does not exist anymore.